This is the book of Psalms, chapter 64, verse 2. Hide me from the plots of this evil mob, from this gang of wrongdoers. They sharpen their tongues like swords and aim their bitter words like arrows. They shoot from ambush at the innocent, attacking suddenly and fearlessly. They encourage each other to do evil and plan how to set their traps in secret. Who will ever notice, they ask. As they plot their crimes, they say we have devised a perfect plan. Yes, the human heart and mind are cunning. Shalom, shalom. Before I begin this lesson, I want to give all praise, honor, and the glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles, bishop, and elders, a great millstone that rule well, and peace and blessings be multiplied on all you brethren that's teaching this word in all sincerity and in truth. Shalom to the elect, 144,000, and the rest of the elect out there, shalom. I'm the brother Dama Gabar here with another lesson, Lord willing to edify through the spirit and power of Yahweh by Yahweh Shai. All right, and this is Psalms the 64th chapter, which, I brought out yesterday, but hey, these scriptures come out continuously because we're just in these times, and when it's needful for us to expose, the conspiracies, so-called conspiracies, or, the secret enemies of the world, we bring out this particular scripture because, it's very relevant that we have to understand that there is a secret counsel of the wicked, man, and that these elites, they meet in secret. Well, it's not so much secret anymore. A lot of these meetings are known, but there are a lot of, there's an aspect of these secret councils that are, not known to the public and that are not openly or publicly discussed. Because we know ultimately behind closed doors, they're meeting for wickedness. They're meeting of how to further bring in this NWO, to bring in this, this beast system, cashless societies to further, enslave the people. And for this man to try to establish his, establish himself as God via his technology. And ultimately they meet behind closed doors to plan, wickedness. You see? And, this is something that we continuously bring out and that we continuously go into because we, fully understand that, these devils are working nefariously behind closed doors. And I got this article here. It's going to be a quick lesson. It says BILDERBERG 2026 meeting attendees leaked. The 72nd annual BILDERBERG meeting is set for this weekend and will be held in Washington, D.C. You see? So this year they're going to hold it in D.C. here in America, which they hold it in different places around the world. But hey, this is more of the secret counsels of the wicked, man. Now, some of these things that they speak about will be made known, but a lot of things behind closed doors are not going to be made known. But we ultimately know what these devils are meeting behind the scenes ultimately to do. And it's really to do wickedness. They're meeting behind closed doors to, plan their enterprise to bring in this NWO. And, we know that these devils are have a very short time. So we know these meetings are of the essence. And I'm sure a lot of this stuff they're going to talk about behind closed doors is going to be how, they're going to have to force the world into this digital beast system, that now is the time. We have to move forward with this thing. I'm sure they're meeting with, they're having meetings about, what's the next so-called scenario or catastrophe they're going to have to use in order to bring the order out of the chaos, man. So let's check this out. It says this year's list of Bilderberg meeting attendees have been leaked. The 2026 confab of globalist political leaders, journalists, and big tech executives will take place this weekend from August 9th through the 12th in D.C. The participant list was leaked Tuesday by Bilderberg researcher Dan Dix ahead of the organization releasing the official list, which is typically done the day the conference begins, you see. So they'll list it the day the conference begins. But believe you me, there's a lot of people that's on this list whose names are not going to be on there. I'm sure there's going to be speakers and individuals who are not on the list that are heavy hitters, that are part of the elites, because they're coming with the plans and the agenda of the elites, and they don't want to be seen. They don't want to be known that they're participating. And we know a lot of satanic rituals and, demonic, rituals take place in these meetings, because ultimately, they have to have, the spirit of Satan in the midst of these things, and a lot of these, things that they're doing are satanic rituals. So they perform a lot of these things and, do a lot of sacrifices, in the midst of these 3 days that they're meeting here in DC. And we know Washington DC layout is satanic in nature, So don't doubt for 1 second that it's going to be a lot of evil and odious works of witchcraft being done behind the scene, this weekend over there in DC. You see, it says among this year's notable attendees, NATO Security Mark Rutte, Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney, Trump Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, World Economic Forum President Boris Brendy, Palantir CEO Alex Karp, European Commission's President Ursula von der Leyen, Bloomberg Editor-in-Chief John Micklethwait, Economics Editor-in-Chief Zanny Milton Beddos, former Google CEO Eric Smith, CNN's Fareed Zakaria, and venture capitalist Peter Thiel. Yeah, you got some of those technocrats being there. You can already know why they're being there. It says less notable participants include former Democrat crime, blah, 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 blah. It says, as usual, members who attend conferences are sworn to secrecy under Chatham House rules, which they claim allow them to discuss issues freely without fear of criticism from the media or public. Now, why the hell you think they're doing that? Because a lot of the things that they're speaking about, are wicked in nature and probably violates laws, probably violates your constitutional rights and your God-given rights of you American citizens, man. There's certain things in these meetings you people on the outside cannot and will not hear about, and it's not for them to discuss it with you because ultimately it's going to be done against you people. All right, and I got this right here. All right. It says, what is Bilderberg meeting for? It says, the Bilderberg meeting is an annual private 3-day forum designed to foster informal dialogue between political leaders and experts from Europe and North America. Established in 1954, its primary goal was to strengthen transatlantic relationship and discuss major global trends affecting Western nations. And they give you all this huff and puff shit about what it's about. It says, it's a space for approximately 150 leading citizens, including heads of state, CEOs, national security experts, and academics to discuss common problems with the pressure of official commitments. It says, while the group states it does not seek specific policy outcomes, which that's a damn lie, critics and historians suggest it aims to build consensus around Western free market capitalism and geopolitical cooperation. Right. They basically are meeting to shape future events, man. And to say what's going to be done, what's not going to be done, how we're going to accomplish this goal, how we're going to accomplish this goal, how they're going to bring in the micro C-HIP, the mark of the beast, how we're going to bring in this cashless society, how they're going to deal with the situation with Iran and, Iran and Israel and America. A lot of heavy decisions are being made in these meetings, that's going to be done behind closed doors. What else it said? How it operates. Chatham House rules. Participants are free to use information gained during discussions, but are strictly forbidden from revealing the identity or affiliation of any speaker. Right. So you can have one of the top elites there, but you'll never know about it. And they're going to be there talking, telling these CEOs and heads of states and these technocrats exactly what needs to be done to, to fulfill their plans and to fulfill their operations, man. You see? It says no official output, no votes are taken, no resolutions are proposed, and no policy statements or minutes are released to the public. So it's a secret council ultimately. Yeah, people know about it, but hey, there's a lot of things that's happening inside there that are not for the everyday average citizen to hear. You see? It says attendees participate as individuals rather than in their official capacity. Yeah, so you got a lot of these guys that go to these meetings that are heads of state, CEOs that are part of these different secret societal sects, man. A lot of them are Knights of Malta and Masons, and they're more it's like they have a deep, some of these guys are CEOs and mayors and governors, right? Even presidents, but they have other deeper affiliations that supersedes their so-called, CEO status, or, Trump could be the president, but when he attends these things, he's, they're, more loyal than, his other deeper, secret society ties, so to speak, if you get what I'm saying, So it says they participate as individuals rather than in their official capacities, allowing them to speak candidly. See? What's others in here? Yeah, criticism and controversy. Because the meetings are closed to the public and media, they are a frequent subject of seed theories. Critics often accuse the group of acting as shadow world government or a secret cabal plotting a new. See, that's what I was saying, because that's exactly what it is. Even though they won't come out and outrightly say that, hey, I just read in the scriptures about the secret counsel of the wicked. This is exactly what the scriptures say that these devils are doing. So it's not so much of a conspiracy. It's not a theory. It's a fact. And this information has been coming out, lately through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Even the Bible speaks about, the like I just read, the secret counsel of the wicked. What did it say? A prayer against what? A prayer against secret enemies. See? It says critics often accuse the group of acting as a shadow world government or a secret cabal plotting a new world order. Through the Bilderberg group dismisses these claims as meritless. And of course they would consider it that way, because that's just what the devil does, man. But hey, people are up on game and people are not as naive as they once used to be, man. So it says, what? Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity, who whet their tongues like a sword and bend their bows to shoot their arrow, even bitter words, man. You see? That they may shoot in secret at the perfect. Come on, man. You see? And these devils, they have these meetings to do all type of sorts of things. They have meetings on how to further, to ban the Bible, how to further get rid of the true believers of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. They're even in these meetings talk about how they're going to eventually fight against the second coming of Hamashiach Yahweh Shai, man. You see? They're talking about how they're going to, control the people, merge man with technology, be able to, hack humans, further pollute the air, the water, et cetera, et cetera. We can go on, man. And that's what these secret meetings are all about. And we know that it's true because the scriptures speak about these things, man. Like I said, we're living in a time now to where, hey, a lot of these so-called sea theories, people are finding out that they're not theories, but facts. And these things are true. And it is what it is, man. We're not naive. We're not stupid. We're not ignorant to Satan's devices. And we know ultimately, what these things are all about. But hey, this is just a heads up showing you that, hey, they're having this meeting this weekend. And we know ultimately what they're going to be conversing about without having to be there. Because, hey, this man is the devil, man. We're dealing with spiritual wickedness in high places, So, hey, just wanted to do this quick lesson showing you that, the so-called meeting attendees got leaked. But we know there's going to be more people on that list and that's going to be leaked or shown. And ultimately, these devils are meeting for wickedness, man. So, hey, with that, Lord willing, this was edifying. I'm going to give all praise, honor, glory to Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Lord willing, you are edified. Into the next one, shalom.